Welcome, welcome. I'm Dee, and this is Single Mom Unguided Life, where I try to navigate through finances, motherhood, being single, and everything in between. And I bring you guys along for the journey to hold me accountable. This is now where I break down my budget by 1, setting financial goals, 2, telling you exactly what I expect to come into my household as far as income, and 3, how I plan on paying the bills, or how much the bills are, and what I plan on doing with the discretionary income after I pay my bills. So first and foremost, I always start with the April monthly budget overview worksheet, and this is a worksheet that I created for myself, and it works for my household. The first section it talks about is my financial goals. In March, I stated that from going forward, I will be more intentional with the what, when, and who situation of what I'm doing with the goals. So, like March, I'm still on a path to pay off another 401k loan. This 401k loan is SBL2. The total is $1,226.82, and I want to pay this off by May 7th. Now, though my April budget goes to April 22nd, the reason why I put May 7th is because based on how the schedule is when the 4K1 loan holder, I guess that's the name to call them, reports to my employer to let them know how much they should be paying them, they need at least 2 pay cycles. So I know that by April 22nd, I will be able to send all of the money that is needed to allow for 2 pay periods. And the 2 pay periods is starting on April 23rd and then on May 7th. So that's why I say by May 7th, it should be paid off completely because of that timeline. I hope I didn't confuse you and it made sense, but that's why I placed that date there. The second thing is I want to send at least $160 towards my June trip sinking fund. I created this sinking fund. It's separate. It's not included in my sinking funds currently. It's just a placeholder to allow for me to move money and see where I'm at in regards to stacking up the money for this particular trip. I want to do this by April 30th. Again, that's past my I know, I couldn't remember. It's past my budget of timeline of April 22nd, but it's not past my side income timeline. So by the time everything comes out and flows through, I'll be able to include the whole month of April's side income portion to that. So that's why I put that there. So let's go ahead and let's talk about the income. As stated, this is not a magic month for me. I do budget my paychecks from my employer with $1,600 each, regardless if I make more or less. I base it at $1,600. I plan on receiving 2 of those, so that's $3,200. Additionally, I will receive my stipend, and it's $144.14. So the amount that I'm expecting for my paycheck to come in is $3,344.14. As far as rollover, I'm planning on bringing over $500 of rollover. I don't have to pull out anything from my savings at this time. For bonus is $300 was received from support. Papa will be sending $100 that's going to go towards the car insurance portion. I mean, him discussed that he would be paying a portion of the car insurance because he does use the car for leisure as well as for going to work. So in school. So with that being said, we agreed that up until the point that he's gone away to college, he will be sending $100 towards that. Lastly is the $26.67. That's for his phone. When he opted to get a new phone, because nothing was wrong with his old phone, we did agree that he would be paying for it, because I'm just not the one who buy phones just because I want a new phone. But with that being said, $426.67 will be coming in. So let's add that all together to see what I'll be working with for the month of April. So that is $4,270.81. So the next section talks about the expenses. We already gone over that in our monthly calendar setup. And I just went ahead and brought that information to this sheet, as well as I indicated about credit card number 1. Credit card number 1, it does not have a balance. So, but I did place it here as a placeholder because it is an item that shows up each month. Regardless, I just decided just to pay it off completely for the month of March. And then another thing that you will not see at this current time is credit card number 2, because credit card number 2 is not due until the 27th, and that's past the April budget. Therefore, you will see that in the beginning of the month for May. And we discussed why I decided to do that based on how everything is set up. So additionally, we have to figure out what we're going to be sending to the envelope system, sinking funds, saving, if we're able to send anything to debt, and if there will be anything left over. And how we do that, we actually do the budget pre-plan. And this budget pre-plan is something that I purchased from Kiamra Vine here on YouTube. And how she breaks it up is she lists all the bills and then goes through what's remaining. Then do that for the second and third, fourth, fifth, how many you have. And then in the end, she tells the leftover income what to do. I have tweaked this a little bit, not in the format because it's really not that much of a format change you can make with this, but how I interpret this particular setup. So I do budget paycheck by paycheck, but I refer to an income breakdown because between getting one paycheck and getting another one, it can be some changes going on. And so I refer to them as income breakdown because this is what I'll be working with. So income breakdown number 1 will be on March 26th, and income breakdown number 2 will be on April 9th. The next thing I do is I need to find out what I will be actually receiving as far as income by March 26th. So I know I will get at least one paycheck by March 26th. I know that the rollover will be in my account by March 26th. And I know that the $300 of support will be in my bank account by the 26th. So I'm working with $2,400 to be able to pay bills, as well as determine what's going to go to the envelope system and the sinking funds. So I'm going to go ahead and list out all of the bills that I'm going to be paying by the next income breakdown. Okay, so we have the internet, rent, the payers plan, streaming, and life insurance. That's all due before the 9th. Because after I looked at the amount of bills and the amounts that I'm paying, I felt that it was best to include some bills past the 9th into my first income breakdown to just level out how much I'm paying each check. I just do not like when I'm putting so much of my bills in one paycheck and it don't leave me room for my envelope system and sinking funds at all. So with that being said, I included the electric, which is actually due on the 12th, storage on the 13th, and the water on the 14th as some additional bills to be added to my income breakdown number 2. So let's go ahead and we're going to calculate what we have left after we pay these items. So we have $1,151.12 that's left to be allocated towards our envelope system and our sinking funds. And because these items combined is probably like 15 lines, I decided just to bundle them. And then when I do my income breakdown, I tell you exactly what I plan on sending to each category. So as far as the envelope system, I am going to actually send $410. And then for the sinking funds, I'm going to send $465. So let's see what we have after we send those out. I don't know why you're creeping, Papa. Just go ahead and open up that refrigerator door. Thank you, sir. So we're left with $276.12. Now, what I usually do is I bring this $276.12 with me to my next income breakdown. So, first, my next income breakdown, I will receive the stipend of $144.14. Then I will receive my paycheck from my employer, which is $1,600. Papa would have sent his $100 for the insurance and $26.67 for his phone. So that leaves him with $2,146.93. That's what I'm actually will be using to actually break down and pay to my bills, my envelope system, and sinking funds. So let's talk about or write down the bills that I'm planning on paying with this income breakdown period. Okay, so these are the bills that I'm planning on paying in the second income breakdown. My cable, the phone bill, the insurance, the OnStar, insurance for the renters and value personal property, and my car note, which will be May's car note. This is what I'll be paying. And then the giving is because I received 2 paychecks coming in for the second income breakdown. Now, I was going to consider having Papa to place the insurance app and the phone bill app, the phone carrier app, onto his device. The issue I have with that and why I backed away from even considering that, Papa does this thing where if it's taking up the space, he deletes the apps. So then he has to keep installing the apps because I say, hey, I thought you had the app. Go in there and pay something. I took it off because it needed the space. And so because of that, I still have to do this. I wanted him to get in the habit of doing it himself, so I didn't have to think twice about it. He's very good about setting up his own budget because he does set his budget up at the end of the month for the following month. So he's good with that, and he's real good with keeping up where his money is going. So I really have no issue with that. It's just getting him to come out that teenager mode and understand that an app for putting blocks together is not important for an app that tells you about your insurance carrier. But we're going to move on from that. So let's go ahead and calculate exactly what we have after we pay each of these items. Okay, so we have $1,211.68 that's left. That needs to be allocated, or a portion needs to be allocated to our envelope system and the sinking funds. So for the envelope system, we're actually going to send $390. And then for sinking funds, I'm actually going to send only $150. Okay? Which is quite low for where I have been sending my sinking funds. But it'll make sense when I do my income breakdown why I'm doing that way. So let's see what we have left after each category. So for the envelope system, we'll have $821.68 left. And then after the sinking funds, we have $600. $271.68. Okay. So then we're going to move our way to the last sheet. And I always show here exactly what happened each paycheck or income breakdown. The first one, we were left with a balance of $276.12. I carried that over to the next income breakdown, and I left us with a balance of $671.68. And so my plan for my leftover includes, of course, my check-in buffer. And I'm actually going to leave $500. And I'm actually going to send $171.68 to savings. Based on my pre-plan. Like I said, it's a pre-plan. It can change. And I hope I was in frame because I just realized I may not have been, but we'll see. So the total expenses is $2,184.13. We're going to now look at the following categories: envelope system. So for the first income breakdown, we're allocating $410, and then the next income breakdown is going to be $390. So that's a total of $800. For sinking funds, the first income breakdown is $465, and the second is $150. So that's $615. For savings, we're going to send $171.68. Nothing extra debt from my income, and $500. And that is going to be to the checking buffer. So let's go ahead and we're going to bring down the income here, which is $4,270.81. And then we're going to add the total expenses from the expense tracker of $2,184.13. $800 for our envelope system, $1,615 for sinking funds, $171.68 for savings, and $500 for our checking buffer. So every dollar is accounted for, and that's what we like. We like to end with every dollar being accounted for, not necessarily that every dollar is being spent. It just has a place in my budget, and that's what I like, because I like to tell my money what to do. Because it often tries to tell me what to do, and sometimes I let it, but most of the time I am far in control of it, and I want you to be in control of yours too. So I always recommend that you pre-plan your budget, either in the beginning of the month or before you get paid. Now, I do not recommend spending the money before it gets to you. I am not an advocate of that. That is a recipe for disaster, shall I say. But I do think that we should be able to pay our bills, and have extra to send to other categories, such as our envelope systems and our sinking funds, and so on and so forth. Even pay off debt, if we so choose. So yes, that's the end. That is the end, y'all, of my setup for my April budget. If you're new to my channel, I would love for you to be part of my village. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. To all my returning subscribers, thank you. Everyone, hit that thumbs up, and please share this with your family, your friends, and your coworkers. Peace out.